Be making is a shepherd's pie. Of course, the first thing you need to do when you're making a shepherd's pie is to prep work beforehand. So we have some mushrooms, we have some peppers, we have some carrots. You can add some peas or chilies or anything you want to in your shepherd's pie. But yeah, these are the simple ingredients. So these are so we're just going to cut some mushrooms. We're using these type of mushrooms. They're the mushrooms that cover the entire stem, and what they do is these mushrooms can grow in one day in the forest, so that's pretty cool. Give them a good dice. We'll just be doing that with the rest of our ingredients there. I'll just demonstrate how to show you to cut one mushroom. I'm just going to dice them up. Honestly, if you wanted to, you can just peel them like this as well, if you really wanted to. This is also a fine method of cutting the mushrooms. In any case, let's go to our bell pepper. So now with our bell pepper, we're gonna cut this stem off. And I'm gonna cut this half like this. Cut it out like so. I'm gonna remove the stem. Pinch it off there. Remove any of the excess leaves, or sorry, excess seeds. Just like so, and we're going to chop them into their parts and just cut them. You normally won't see bell peppers used, but I thought it would be, since we have bell peppers, we might as well use them. Now we'll be using a carrot. We're just going to take the carrot and peel it. Wash it first, actually. Right, and now we'll cut this into 4 parts. And with this, we'll just cut them into this. Right, and that's all the materials or ingredients that we'll be using today. Now we're just going to cut the rest of these mushrooms up. We will be using 1 bell pepper, so we're not going to use the other one. And yeah, that's it. Okay. Right, so now that we've finished cutting the mushrooms up, we'll have to put our potatoes in our boiler. We'll probably be using this pan here. Right, we're gonna fill this with tap water because we won't be using the water anyway. I'm gonna put them here. Turn it to high heat. Yeah, we'll probably add 1 spoon of salt, 1 spoon kosher salt. So just add it now. Not much. I'm not gonna add any more. So we're gonna use some garlic and some onions as well because this is also good for shepherd's pie. So again, cut off the head, cut off the lids at the end. I'm just gonna peel it now. I'm gonna put a little bit of water just so I can get that initial one, and then it should be good all the way around. Now we're chopping onions. What you want to do is just chop it in half, right? Just like that. Find where the bud is. So the bud here is here, and we're just gonna cut close to the bud. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make diagonal cuts here. And now, holding this onion, we're going to just mince it. So for peeling the garlic, just smash it, right? And then we can peel it right like this. Just like that. Then you want to mince it. Yeah, that's good to go. Right, we'll add that with our onions and carrots and butter, and that's how you peel garlic. And with these potatoes, you want to wash them because they've been freshly picked, so they're quite dirty. They have certain dirt on them. You want to wash them nicely. I'm just going to chop them in half. Chop them in half. We're going to add them to our pan when it's boiling. Okay. So now we're going to put our potatoes into our boiling water. I'm going to be careful with this. You don't want to burn yourself. So just add them gently. There you have it. Your potatoes and water. Now we're just going to be boiling that to the side. Mashed potatoes, we want to make sure that the potatoes are hot. So we're going to peel the skin off now. As you can see, it's very easy to take the skin off when you boil it. Alright, that's one done. Now we'll just be doing the rest. Right, so now that we've peeled the potatoes, you want to make sure you do this when it's hot. So if you can't stand the hot, what you can do is you can put the potatoes in a little bit of cold water, quickly take them out, and then you can peel the skin very easily. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just simply smash it with, actually I want to smash it with that. This is better, right? So we're going to smash it with this. If you want to do it, you can put it through a potato sieve you can put it through a sieve actually, and then you just press it down and you'll make a very fine potato paste, but it takes a bit of work. However, for this one we're going to make a bit of a rustic potato mash. Take some of our butter. And if you have some cheese, take that too. Take about a spoon of butter, and then we'll be pouring a little bit of butter, not too much. Take some of your cheese, put the cheese in. The reason why some cheese is white is because this is its original packet. Don't worry about that. That's some shredded mozzarella cheese. Now we're just gonna. That much cheese should be enough. We'll add the rest of the cheese on top. So that's a good amount of cheese, and then we'll just combine it together. So Parmesan cheese is probably the best here, but we're going to use mozzarella. Add a little bit of salt. We don't want to over salt it. Okay. A little bit of salt. Stir that in. Jam it together. So this will give you some nice creamy mashed potatoes. So we're going to add the butter to our mushrooms. We're going to add it to the pan here. Sizzling away, and so we can add our mushrooms. So let's have our mushrooms just go in. Right, I'm going to put this in low flame because we're going to be making medium-low flame. We'll occasionally come back to this. And the reason why I'm putting it on medium-low flame is because we're going to be mincing our meat in the meantime while we're waiting for these mushrooms to cook. So let's make some meat. Okay, so we've put our meat and our food processing blade in the freezer here. And the reason why we put them into the freezer is because we want them to firm up. So instead of having meat that comes in like, instead of having wet and soggy meat, you have these pellets when you put them in the food processor. Same with why we put the blade in there. So our meat is cold, but not frozen. Right, so we're just gonna cut this in half. Now we've had this half. Right, we're just going to use half of this. So we'll probably use this half. We're going to put the rest that's not used inside of this bag. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting this into portions. So how do we cut this into portions? Let's just start cutting away. Okay, that's one portion right there. We're going to cut this into inside pieces, just so that our food processor will have an easier time when mincing this meat. Alright, so we're going to put this in. Like so. We're going to mince it. And we don't want it to be too minced. Okay, that's good. Remove it. Put the side here. Alright, so we just added a little bit more butter to our mushrooms. If you want them to get to this nice brown golden color. So we can add our meat in. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to flatten it out like a pancake. Now we just wait for it to turn brown. Big patty burger. Like so. If you want to speed things up, you can add salt. But here's the thing. We're going to add our tomato puree, and the thing is that in our pizza episode, we actually put a little bit too much salt on our tomato puree. That's why we're not going to put salt in this, so that when we put the tomato puree in, there will be less sauce. There will be less salt. Now I will add I will edit a clip in the video saying to reduce the amount of salt you put in your tomato puree or sauce. We're going to cook other things in it. We're going to cook our vegetables. Let me just stir that right over there. A little bit more taste test. That's good. Good. There you have your mashed potatoes. Now let's walk into our...
What did they do?
We have the rest of our vegetables to complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat it up and we're going to add some olive oil or just any oil. Like a bit. And the reason why we're adding a bit is because I'm going to scrape this spawn at the bottom. So this is our big spawn that we'll be using. Now we can add our ingredients. And we're just going to wait for this to turn brown as well. The vegetables will also create a nice spawn. So now we just have to wait for the vegetables to cook as well. So now we're going to add our meat and our mushrooms and our meat. Oh yeah, so now we're going to add our tomato puree. Just how much? Not all of it.
Half it.
I'm going to add a red wine. You can use stock if you want, but I think that red wine increases the flavor. So we're going to have a red wine. How much do we have? And anything we have on our side, you want to scrape it. So you want to scrape all the spawn. You can see the cups we have here. Yeah, a little bit. Really good on this one.
That may be needed.
Just scrape up all of that spawn at the bottom of your pan, sides. Then we'll have that wine go away. And then we're going to add stock next. Just having that wine evaporate. If you can, you would add Worcestershire sauce. Oh, we didn't find Worcestershire sauce, so we're just going to add wine and stock. See, alcohol is good.
I don't know. Little bit. Small
Food tastes
amount.
better.
Small amount.
What?
Small amount of coffee. Like 15
small
milli.
amount.
15 milli or 20 milli.
Okay, now we're going to add our stock.
What the cheese?
we're done with our meat, now we have to transfer it into a big plate.
Like oven related.
No.
Okay.
So if you're wondering how we made stock at home, we just took some beef bones and we put it into the pot. We added some carrots and all of those vegetables that will make the soup taste better. So celery, carrots, onions, etc. You can add whatever you want. And we had it boil for an entire day. Not entire day, but quite a while. Yeah, entire day, 8 hours. We had it boiling. That's how we got the stock. And we added here. Alright, so now we have to transfer it. We are going to transfer this. So with your mashed potatoes, with your shepherd's pie, or in this case, since we are being cottage pie, we need to take a. So we're going to take a plate, right? We're going to transfer this meat. We always put the meat in the bottom layer. So. Right. I've had this oven preheated to 160 degrees Fahrenheit for quite a while. I've had it there for quite a long time. Right, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to flatten it down. Right. Flatten. Once we transfer the meat into the pot, we're going to take our mashed potatoes. We're going to just put that on top. Smooth out. And now we're going to add as much cheese as we have. So this is how much cheese we have. We're going to add this much cheese. Take it. So start shredding.
Lightly
Okay. It's our cheese. We're put all of this on top. Spread it out. Now I've had this oven preheated to 160 for about 15 minutes ago. So now we can finally put this into our oven and then we'll be good to go. Nice. Now we'll wait about 25 minutes. 25 minutes for that cheese to melt. We put it in the oven for 160 degrees for 25 minutes. But what happened was the cheese wasn't browning. So what I did was I just put it to max heat and I just waited a little bit more. Just so that everything is cooked and evenly. And now we have the cheese is brownish. It looks appetizing to eat. So now we can open it. Make sure the smoke comes out.
oven of it.
See? Yeah, off the oven. Which I thought off the oven. Take it out. Melted cheese, shepherd's pie. So shepherd's pie actually originated from the farmers in the past. Because in the past you had potatoes were easy to grow, as potatoes were one of the best foods in Europe at the time and other places in the world. As it was easy to grow, it grew underground, so it was resistant to weather changes, and it was easily stored. In the past, these farmers would also have some sheep, and they had a lot of milk for the sheep, so they could make cheese, they could make the mashed potatoes, as you saw. They had the milk, so they could do that, and they had the lamb for the sheep, so they could put it in there. We actually put beef, so this is cottage pie, but shepherd's pie. But that's why shepherd's pie is named shepherd's pie, because shepherds take care of sheep and eat sheep.
എടുത്തോണ്ട് മേശപ്പുറത്തേക്ക്